Terrible neighbor vandalizes cars parked in front of her house. A neighbor thinks she is the only person entitled to park in front of her house. There's room for 2 cars, but she'll park square in the middle so there's not room for another car. If someone has to park in front of her house, if the spot is left unoccupied, she becomes unhinged. She's yelled at a neighbor accusing them of taking her spot. One neighbor had someone over to their house and parked in front of the lady's house overnight, leaving enough room for her to park there as well. The next day her car was doused in orange juice. My wife has tried to reason with her, but she's proven herself unreasonable. Wife and I have fantasized about what we can do to send her a message. Open to suggestions. Install cameras and get video of her vandalizing cars. Then take it to the police. Buy a cheap garden gnome. Tell her it has a camera in it. Later on make it hold up the sign, "I saw what you did to that car." Repeat endlessly and change the wording as appropriate. Removed by Reddit. Birdseed tossed on her car. Definitely set up a camera to record her and supply all records of her vandalizing vehicles to the police. Mark the area outside her property as a no parking zone, the right colored lines. She will then go ape trying to find which government agency did it. If you have the budget to spend, buy a beater car. Park it in front of her house and film her vandalism. My mate had a neighbor who would stab other neighbors' tires. There was a side road that ran alongside Stabby's house that led to 3 garages. The land wasn't owned by him. The side road was easily big enough to fit a fire engine down it with cars parked on one side. Which is what my mate, some of his neighbors did. That is, until the stabbing started. The police wouldn't do anything unless it was caught on camera. It was back before there were dash cams. They couldn't put cameras on his fence to prove it. They ended up unable to park legally on that road. Unfortunately, that beastard won. If you have a door cam or any type of cam, I would film her behavior and then have a quiet word with her that she is acting in a criminal way and needs to stop. If she persisted in vandalism, then I would report her to the police. Better to do it quietly before someone catches her and something worse may happen. You could go to and buy her a bag of dick-shaped glitter and mail it to her. They make it in a variety of colors. Plant a protected sapling in an inconspicuous spot near her house. A lot of these suggestions are like, wow, fun to read. But yikes. I'm going to say vandalizing her car or yard may just get you in trouble. Also, having that kind of war could just escalate to a horror show. My advice is to just park there. Every single day. It's a slow burn and legal. My sister is like this. I've told her many times the road is for public use and nobody owns it. She doesn't listen. You can't force people to listen. You can only protect yourself. Get cameras. Since vandalism is both illegal and wrong, I would set up a recording device and film her vandalizing the vehicle and then show her the video. Explain that she either ceases her actions or she will be reported to the authorities. No need to lower yourself to her level. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You can put baloney on her car overnight and it will leave dots. Or if you're super evil, throw BBs on her lawn. Or fish enzyme in her AC unit. The sky's the limit. Ha ha ha. Glue stick a note on windshield, public street, not reserved parking. You know that liquid ass spray? Spritz some in the intakes along the bottom of her windshield. When the AC kicks in, it'll fart it all right in her face. Help her out by making sure her door locks stay lubricated. A low-cost solution is a mixture of urine heavily loaded with dissolved sugar. I use it and I find it works a treat. All these people suggesting funny, creative and epic methods of payback need to realize one thing. Cameras don't pick and choose who they record. If OP doesn't have cameras, get them and just use the video against her. I wouldn't do anything that could get you in trouble with the law. I love the tampons to the wiper, by the way. Very inventive, LMAO. I saw someone comment to cut their tires. Don't do that. Just cut their valve stems. Their tires still get just as flat, but if you're caught, you'll only be liable to replace something very cheap as opposed to something that could cost hundreds. And cutting the valve stems is still going to be a major pain in the ass to get fixed. If you have natural gas in your area, do not get some pure Roundup non-diluted. And at night, do not spray the ground with the Roundup in a pipe design from the gas meter to the sidewalk. It may take a few days, but it should give the impression that there's a gas leak in her yard. But that's silly anyway, because no one would do such a thing. I did not do this to a guy on our WA, and he did not a couple of grand getting his yard dug up to find out his pipes were fine. You will not get extra credit if you do not use a metal detector to find the actual path of the gas line. Dog shit under her car door handle. What? No, piss disc slipped down between the side of her door and window. Set up cameras. When you have it on film, take it to the police. Strategically placed cameras that happen to cover that spot. Wait for her to vandalize someone else's vehicle and then provide evidence to police and make her pay for damages. I was in a similar situation. I called the cops. They had a discussion with her regarding the law. I never had another problem. Sticky and smelly stuff under door handle was a fav when I was young. Ask a police officer to come and explain that street parking is for everybody? Tell the police about the vandalism. Have 3 explain the street is public and free for all to park. Get dashcam and call the cops for vandalism. Report vandalism to the police. Sooner or later, she's gonna get busted. Install a camera and record her vandalism. Then turn it over to the police. Get a security camera and point it at her parking spot. When she does something like vandalism or even gets upset with you or your wife, then you'll have 3 evidence for the police. Why all the revenge tactics? Why lower yourselves to her standards? Adult up and get cam footage to show police. Please don't resort to vandalism. If so, you're actually worse than she is. I guess the simpler fix would be to park in front of your house. But if you want to risk trouble with the law, kill her. If you live somewhere hot, lay slices of cucumber on the roof hood. When they bake on and dry, they'll take the paint off when she removes them. Just get her towed. Tow company won't ask any questions. Especially if her car is parked to take up 2 spots. I have a neighbor like this. Has RV, boat, trailers and 5 cars. He parks them everywhere. All over the place, and if you park near his spot he will box you in so you can't leave like an inch from your bumper. Entitled morons. Sometimes he gets tickets and he goes door to door trying to find out who is jealous of his lifestyle. Print the local parking ordinance on large lawn signs and stick them in front of the parking spot. Next time she messes with a car, add a sign that lists the punishment for vandalism. 3rd time. This area is under video surveillance. I agree with Op in the lady sounds violent and unhinged. But there are regularly stories on this sub about the roles being reversed where people want others to not park in front of their house, and that is also supported. Which is kinda funny if you think about it. Audrey Gusky. A Pittsburgh professor keyed people's cars when they parked on her block. A car owner got her in camera so she had to pay up. It was wild. Depends on how far you want to take it. It's not a crime to let the air out of someone's tires. As others have said, Jolly Ranchers on the windshield is fun. Some bologna has enough preservatives to strip paint. The cheaper the bologna the better. Buy some liquid ass online. Smash a smaller window. Dump a couple of tubes in there. Bonus points if it's a hot day. Get a pound of sugar. Pop open her gas cap and dump it in. If she starts it up, it will caramelize in the engine and the car is totally done. The world is your oyster. Put up cameras that show that part of the street. Next time she vandalizes a car, turn it over to the owner of the car for police. Obviously, orange juice. Every night. Send her an anonymous letter stating that there are security cameras monitoring that parking spot. So if she messes with another car, the police will be called. Record her and submit it to the cops. Call the police and have them explain what a damn public right-of-way is and that she did a vandalism with OJ. She does not own the street. If there is no permit parking, then she has no ground to stand on. The road is public space. She does not own it. Call the police immediately if you can't reason with her when she does any type of vandalism, or else she's gonna get you in trouble somehow. Park in front of her house overnight. Hopefully she pours OJ milk. Karen tears on your car. Walk back to your house and get some soap and water and start recording with your phone. Hope and pray that she comes out of her house to yell at you and admit to the vandalism. Call the police non-emergency line and ask for a patrolman to come out to file a report. Let the cop tell her that the curb in front of her house is public property and anyone can park there. File the report so that there's a record of her behavior. I learned on Reddit that you can request Jehovah's Witness visit via an online form. Do with that info what you will. Sometimes violence is the solution. Pull the valve stems and deflate the tires, replace valve stems and watch reaction. Tie tampons to her windshield wipers but hid them underneath. First time it rains, she will need to use them. They'll expand, and she will have to get out in the rain to take them off. Vaseline on the windshield. And I love the bird seed on the car idea. No damage, but the birds will poop all over the place. Get stick-in wheel weights and put them in random spits inside the wheel. Will cause a nasty vibration from the wheels. Hire kids to egg her car. Pour pancake syrup all over her car, then pour glitter or birdseed on top of that. Petty revenge. Deflate her tires, especially if it's an SUV. Park a Tesla there with all their cameras and press charges when she does something to it. Cameras and time. People are crazy about parking spaces. Dealing with neighbors is tricky. The temptation is to escalate, but that can really backfire. A camera is a good idea in case they escalate, but plotting any kind of revenge is dangerous, especially since neighbor seems crazy. Sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and not make the bad situation much worse. While all of you people are giving advice on how to trash the neighbor's car, I hope OP is keeping in mind that that's vandalism and thinks long and hard before acting on any of these. Buy saran wrap or some other plastic wrap, and keep going around your car with it. Won't damage the car, but it'll be super annoying to get off. I watched someone do it to a neighbor's car for April Fools, and it was amazing. Neighbor who owned the car was not too happy, but all of us watching from the neighborhood enjoyed it immensely. You want to send a message? Use property and tax info online to begin enrolling her in every pyramid scheme and online. Religious sales get rich quick. I have an idea type mailing. Scheduled visit and phone bank that is possible in your country. Just add a few each day for the next year. eBay Motors. Sort by price. Buy the cheapest thing you can find and park it there forever. Feed the birds. Get a bag of wild bird seed Every time she takes up the whole spot, toss a handful of seed on her car. Did you know that bird talons can put tiny scratches in a car's finish? Not to mention all the literal crap they'll leave behind. Cameras and police. Give her address and information to the Jehovah's Witness. Open mouth smile. Those early morning knocks used to rattle me in the morning. Yes, my boyfriend smokes cigarettes outside, albeit, and yes, we were unmarried and drinking in our 20s. Sheesh. I had a morbidly obese neighbor claim our one spot in front of our house. Street parking. Public for anyone should be hers since it's a shorter walk for her with her groceries. Like, it's my house, if I wanna park in front of it I will. Oh, and her house had like 3 spots in front of it based on how the houses are positioned, but her kids all park there and never move. Post maggots through the letterbox. French fries seagulls lane to eat them and poop everywhere. Get some really strong glue. Put it on all her tires. She wants it that bad. Let her have it. Edit or melt the tar around her tires. Blame it on global warming. See if one of your friends have a spare car, then park it there as she parks as she can't park there. Then leave it there for a few weeks. To watch her and get camera inside it to film anything she does. I had a neighbor that thought that the space in front of her house was her parking space. I loved any excuse to park my car there, although I have a driveway so normally parked on my drive. Are you in the US? I'm my neighborhood. Streets are public spaces and you cannot hold spots or own spaces in front of your house. Video her doing it or set up some sort of camera and let her do this for a few weeks, even a month. Don't say anything and then call the police while she's doing it and then provide them with the recordings of her vandalizing other cars and send her ass to jail. Instant potatoes in the curb grass by the car? Let the air out of 2 tires. All the people here who are encouraging OP to break the law should remember that it is illegal to incite breaking the law. OP should call the police. 1. Security cams. 2. Talk to the local police. In some jurisdictions, she will get ticketed for taking up more than 1 spot, even if they aren't marked. Get a cheap junker you don't care about. Park in spot. Leave it for as long as you can before your town considers it abandoned. Move it for a bit. Put it back next time she moves her car. Repeat. Powdered laundry detergent all over the lawn. 1. Find a ping pong ball. A hole in a ping pong ball. 3. Fill with crystal Drano. 4. Fill the hole with candle wax. 5. Casually walk up. Open the gas cap and drop it in. 6. Nonchalantly get out of there very fast. You shouldn't have to worry about the car anymore. Eggy car. Windshield. Wear a face mask and hood. Come from another direction in case of door cameras. Do this a few times. She'll get the message. Chop a fish into small square cube. Put a neat row in the gap below the windscreen wipes. Body meets windscreen. That stench will go into the car when she drives. Bit of luck and she'll keep searching the inside of the car. Leave a note after the 2 above. Want to keep playing? Cheap bologna. Toss it on the roof. Hood truck of the car overnight. The nitrates will eat the paint in a perfect beautiful circle. Fun fact: porcelain breaks car windows. A tiny piece will just shatter it. And you can throw it from pretty far. Just a good fun fact to know. These people aren't entitled. They're garden variety crazy. As in, they usually have a few different undiagnosed personality disorders mixed in with some substance abuse disorders along with a possible psychiatric condition. You can't fix or reason with this. If retaliation makes you feel better, do something that's not going to blow back on you. Remember, she isn't thinking like how we think. Get cameras and park there. Call the police when she's damaged it. Or call the police and ask their advice on how to handle moving forward. I would be parking dead center in that spot daily. A beater car that gets moved once a week or so. Spray brake oil all over the paint job. Wait. Enjoy. Put food under her car so raccoons come and take it as theirs. Leave some milk out in the sun till it's basically cottage cheese. Wait till she leaves her sunroof open overnight and pour it in. Good luck getting rid of the smell. So is it a double driveway or just 2 street parking spaces? Put BBs in her hubcaps and it will drive her crazy. Call the police and have their community officer come out and explain the law. B flat gun, nighttime, windshield. While it is not illegal to park on the street in front of somebody's house, I will usually ask the homeowner first as a courtesy. Did you know that insurance will only cover vandalized tires if all 4 are damaged? Just saying. Give her a dildo hood ornament with epoxy glue. Also, do not spray dough lure into the AC intake on her car, or into the fresh air intake on the front end of the vehicle. Damaging the car is bad. That's why I have a valve stem puller for the tires. Back it out enough so it leaked. And remember, 3 tires is not an insurance claim. WD-40 her wiper blades. Why not just park in front of your house? Simple as that. You know that gap foam construction workers use? Nothing will chemically break it down once it becomes solid. Have fun with this little tidbit of info. I've heard of people putting something slimy and smelly under the door handle. Crazy glue on the door handle. If you want to be evil. Banana in the muffler. Sugar in the gas tank. One can introduce juice from raw fish and/or chicken into car window wells using a turkey baster. Time will improve the odor. A bead of superglue along windshield wipers helps keep them in place. Superglue has many other creative uses. Locking pliers are very efficient tools for removing tire valve stems. If you polka dot the car with bologna, it will eat at the paint. Axle grease on her door handles. Crisco on her windows. I used to know a kid with the same name as me who lived in my town. He was bullied a bit, and one time after having enough he went to his bully's house overnight and put processed ham all over his car. The next summer morning when he woke up and took it all off, all the paint came along with it. Had a polka dot car since. Fill a syringe with brake fluid. As you stroll by her car, spray the hood and doors. Paint will lift off in ugly fashion. If it's a public spot, just take to pouring orange juice on her car every single night. If she has a Ring doorbell camera, just get a super soaker and do it from afar. After a few repeated nights of this, she will get the picture, or she will have a fairly corroded car. Because all that acid for that long can't be good. Went to a fishing trip, and when I returned home, there was somebody parked in my spot. It's a private parking area with designated spots for everyone. Contacted the car's owner via mobile, and she couldn't be bothered to answer me. Had some squid-scented powder that is used for attracting fish left that I used for on my fishing trip. Spilled it all to her car's air intake. That stuff stinks so bad that I had to keep it in 3 mini grip bags, and still it would stink up the place. Bet her Mercedes smelled really nice after that. 3 Brake fluid in a squirt gun. Squirt her entire car. Put a piece of bologna on her hood overnight in the summer. When she pulls it off the next morning, it'll take paint with it. Pour sardine oil into the air intakes at the base of the windshield. If she thinks it smells bad at first, wait a week until the oil turns rancid. Don't get caught doing it. It usually writes the car off, as it is impossible to clean. After reading several of the food-related comments here, I must say how heartwarming it is to know the shitty processed food we put in our bodies is just as destructive to a car. Put a potato in her exhaust, super glue her doors or handles. Late to the party, but reading all these responses for people are diabolical, saving the post for future reference though. Grin 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 grin. Frozen bologna will peel paint off in neat circles as it thaws. Our unethical life pro tips might have some ideas for ya. Who knew Jolly Ranchers were multi-purpose? I learn something every day on Reddit. Put a ping pong ball in the gas tank. The ball will float until the engine is turned on, then the flow of gas will cause the ball to be sucked to the line. Not being able to pass, it will get caught and you will seem to have run out of gas. Turn car off. Repeat. Valve stem remover tool. Remove the tire stem valve, then tape to window. Fish sauce down the air vents. Crazy glue a nickel onto her hood. She'll see it every time she gets into the car. Catfish stink bait in the cowl vents. Brake fluid will strip the paint on the car. The ceramic on the top of a spark plug will destroy a window. Something less chargeable is anti-seize on the wiper blades and door handles. Coordinate with neighbors around the clock schedule to keep the spot constantly occupied as much as possible. Park the way she does in the middle. Put 2 traffic cones or more in her spot or in front of the car in the middle. If you can legally park a camper, boat or trailer on the street, put one in her spot. Make a reserve parking sign that says Karen parking only and list her actions in the jerkiest sarcastic "You must be in a hole if you park here" way to highlight what an unreasonable, self-centered neighbor she is. 2 dozen minnows. Pour directly into the cowl that pulls air in for the heat AC. The fishy smell lasts quite a long time. Put shrimp in the vents under the windshield. Salt her yard to say no parking with an arrow. Wax the car with a whole bottle of dishwashing liquid. Hide 2 fish in the car. She'll find the first one and wonder why the smell won't go away. Look up bentonite. It's a type of clay that turns into slippery snot when it gets wet. And it sticks to everything. Dump that on her car on a rainy night. Or on her doorstep if you'd like to see her fall. Draw a big fat penis on her hood with brake fluid. It starts out invisible, but after the sun gets to it you can't get rid of it without sanding back to bare metal and repainting. Throw wet pet food and birdseed all over her yard and car. Raccoons, birds, stray cats and dogs, mice etc. will be all over the place. I also read somewhere on here that you can freeze various meat broths in ice cube trays. Throw them in her yard and they'll melt overnight. Raccoons, dogs, cats and rodents will dig up her yard looking for the food they smell. For summer, get a bottle of skunk scent and send a drop down the vents between the hood and the windshield. During winter, crank an egg on the windshield. When they try to scrape it off, the windshield will shatter. Instant mashed potatoes in her yard right before it rains. Open mouth smile. Put a lil jam on her car door handle. Head and Shoulders will peel paint off BTW. Go to a store that carries hunting supplies and they sell bottles of fox piss. Hunters put it on their shoes in deer hunting season. One guess. Then get a big syringe and needle and inject it through the rubber around their car window into the seats. Smell will never come out. Cameras. I do not in any way suggest this. Flour on the bonnet air vents just before rain. Or my favorite is the old prawns smooshed into the bonnet air vents and any other vent, then cleaned off the outside. Should be a cool, cloudy, overcast, cool day when delivered. My friends were complete a-holes growing up and this was a fav of theirs. And leaving prawns in the curtain hem after removing the weight, inserting prawns then replacing weight. Go to Home Depot and purchase a wax ring for setting toilets. On a hot day break the ring up and put it on the windshield and anywhere else on the car. It's soft beeswax and will melt, making a big mess that's pretty difficult to clean up. It doesn't come off well in the car wash either. Or have someone call the police when she vandalizes someone's car. Paying fines and cleaning someone else's car cause you're unhinged gets old quickly. Here's one I read earlier today. Pour oven cleaner over the car. Apparently it will act like paint stripper. Or just get a camera. Record the vandalism and report to the police. Brake fluid poured all over it. Eats the paint to the bare metal. Potato in the tailpipe. Some brake fluid in a repurposed spray bottle will get a message across quick. Watch for cameras. If it's in front of her house on the street, I believe the homeowner owns those spots in most cities. If she has told you not to park there, then you've been given notice and she can have whoever towed at their expense. Park in front of your own house. Why is someone parking there overnight? That's just ridiculous. What if she had company coming and now her entitled neighbors won't stop parking in front of her house? The fact you'd rather get revenge than simply not use their parking space is crazy. Edit for a typo. Bologna and Coca-Cola. Don't give the neighbor ideas. If you are in the city, the info on where to park, who can and how long on a city street is usually available online. Print it out on peel and stick paper and apply to driver's window. Get a dashcam that can record when the car is parked. Wait for another opportunity to park there and record any incident, then call the police and show them the video. They will explain it to her. My in-laws have a neighbor like that. Lady thinks she owns the road in front of her house. She's tried calling the cops on people that have parked there. But that obviously didn't work. I learned yesterday that now she'll wait in the road and honk until any car parked there is moved. I told the in-laws that when she does that to call her in for it. Give her a taste of her own medicine. I really kind of hope she does it to me. As internally fun as it sounds, I wouldn't vandalize her car. Can you get an agency to actually paint lines designating 2 spots? I also really like the gnome camera idea someone else posted. Park a car in front of her house. Make sure it's within view of a camera. When she vandalizes it, call the police. I am sure they will give her a talking to. At the very least. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm never eating bologna again. Birdseed. This is the way. My neighbor's guests park in front of my house instead of my neighbor's because the street in front of my house is shaded from a tree. It drives me crazy. They even block my driveway to stay in the shade sometimes. She's lucky nobody has beat her dumbass yet. You don't fuck with people's cars. Damn it. One of the few instances where motion-activated sprinklers or bamboo won't work. Get a copy of the statute saying it is legal for anyone to park anywhere on the street. Leave it on her windshield. Probably won't make a difference. But you made an effort to resolve this peacefully. Document any attempts or tantrums she makes. Don't stoop to her level with childish payback. From the sound of it, she isn't harassing you. Park, get vandalized, call the cops. The police. For vandalism and harassment. Every time she throws a fit, call the police and point them her way. Time for cameras and to press criminal charges. If you've got the means to do so, maybe buy a few of those suction cup dildos and put them on her. On the handles if possible. Call the town city and ask if marked parking spaces can be put on your street. Tell her you're going record her accosting people or doing anything to someone's car and turn it over to the police. Maybe she'll cool her jets. If not, follow through on it. If the police get multiple reports of said behavior, they're gonna have a conversation with her at minimum. Get a doorbell camera if you don't have one yet. Make sure to park in view of it at all times. Start leaving traffic cones in the spot while she's gone. Piss disc and liquid ass. Wait, wrong sub. Sounds like it's time to invest in a quality security camera. I would keep dash cameras in my car and every night try and park in front of her house. She doesn't own the street, so if you catch her on video vandalizing your car, take her to court. Get video evidence, then call the police. Pick a side to play. Bad guy brake fluid peels paint. Or, good guy park there and get good video and submit to police. Perhaps use a rental with insurance. If it sits in the sun, an egg will do the trick, but I don't recommend it because she would have to get it repainted. Put a camera up where it focuses on that part of the street. If she continues to throw things, or pour things, etc., then the cops can handle it. Make multiple copies of the local jurisdiction's parking law and use something to glue it to her car. Not necessarily white glue, but something sticky, all over the car. Put mustard all over her car. Crazy glue in the door locks. Spoiled milk on the passenger side of the windshield. IDK pick one rolling on the floor laughing. Get a Schrader valve tool and take all of her Schrader valves out of her tires every night she parks, taking 2 spots. Leave the Schrader valves on the ground and wear gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints. Slice her tires so she will get that spot for a while. Yay, I know this is illegal. Next time she's gone, grab some paint and go out and paint 2 parking spaces in front of her house. Then when she does the whole park in the middle, call the cops. Maybe you can get her towed? That's some expensive petty revenge. Sprinkle some of those god-awful weeds, the thistle or whatever, in her lawn as you are walking by. Vaseline on the bottom of her car's door handles. Shit under her bonnet. Paint zigzags outside her house. Find a parking officer in your city or town and ask them to pay a visit to her to explain the actual laws about street parking, because the woman is completely unhinged. Also, don't stoop to retaliation vandalism. Good chance you catch a charge for it. People like this woman can be easily defeated by being outsmarted. Well, we all know 2 wrongs make a right, so have at it. But if you really want to send a message, try using words. I have a lot that I could recommend for amazing revenge. Used to be an unmedicated delulu during the shutdown. But I'm sure mods would delete it. My neighbor's 6 people have 6 cars and don't park in their garage or driveway. Looks like there's a party at my house every day and there's non-stop coming and going. They invite people over and sometimes there's like 10 cars at one house often. I had a neighbor that did a similar thing, except he would leave nails screws in the spot outside his house, so anyone who parked there would likely end up with a flat tire. He also worked for the county council, so any complaints that were made about him mysteriously disappeared. A family that lived on the street ended up having one of their windows smashed by him because they parked opposite his house, only a house on one side of the street. The other side faced the gardens of the perpendicular street, and they went over and said possibly did some stuff to him, and he hasn't been much an issue in terms of parking since. Don't park in front of her house? Liquid still in the locks is fast and fun. That's what happened to me when I parked in front of a client's house. The guy hit my car with his and left a note incriminating himself. Set her mailbox on fire. Record and report. But feel free to also talk to her about how you can't believe some criminal committed a crime on a public street? How can we feel safe with some hoodlum vandalizing cars? Like you've got no idea it was her. OMG. A friend of mine has a neighbor like this and she slashed my tires. The neighbor was on the town board and there was no way to stop her. Get an 8 ounces styrofoam cup, 2 toothpicks, and a small bottle of brake fluid. Wait till she goes back into her cave for the night. On a night when you know she won't be leaving first thing in the morning upside down face. And put the cup with the toothpicks poked in it on the roof with it full of brake fluid. Get caught and pray that the sun bakes it in before she has a chance to take it to the car wash. Upside down face, upside down face, upside down face, smile with a halo, smile with a halo, smile with a halo. If it's hot where you live, throw a slice of bologna on the hood. It will fry to the paint. When you pull it off, it will take the paint with it. Get a no parking sign from Amazon. Post it on the curb in front of her house. She should have bought a house on a corner lot. Wait for winter. Wet paper towels on the windshield and all windows. Does she leave the sunroof open a crack? Line a pizza box with plastic cling wrap. Then drink a ton of Bailey's Irish cream liquor and lime juice, which will curdle in your stomach. Aromatic French cheese and tomato juice is also good. Vomit into the pizza tray. Then carefully place it in the freezer. After it's frozen, sneak out at night and slip the vomit pizza through the sunroof. Ideally onto the driver's seat. Even better, on a hot sunny day she'll drive herself insane wondering how people are getting into her car and barfing. If she vandalizes further. 3 Brake fluid car wash. Note: I do not advocate illegal activities and what I'm writing is pure satire. If you attempt this at your own risk of legal issues. You should have called the cops when she poured orange juice on your friend's car. I don't know what that would do to the paint. But at the very least you would have had a paper trail showing she has done stuff to other people's cars, so when she does it in the future they know about her history. Make a point of parking there all the time. Tell all your visitors to do the same. I'd the same with one. If she'd asked nicely, I told her I'd have moved, but she came out ranting and raving. She asked for it. My neighbor is exactly like that. Except it's the side of the house, not in front. So basically she thinks she owns the road. But it's perfectly fine for her visits to park on the side of the neighbor's house across the street almost daily. Hate entitled people. Pour fish sauce into her air intake. Frozen sausages hammered into the front lawn. Sit back and watch the fun. If you want to make a financial investment in revenge, find or buy 2 old cars you don't care any and park them permanently in front of her house. Be as mystified as anyone about whose they are, where they came from. Install cameras to catch her the act of vandalism. Then find someone with a beater car that is just legal to be the street. Park it in front in her house, taking up both of the spots. Learn the parking laws so the car parked is always legal but annoying. Have fun. Buy a cheap car van, the bigger the better. Park it outside her house. Spray paint insults about her on it and leave it there for weeks or even months. The first step is to know exactly who has security cameras and where they are pointed. Honestly, the best way is catch her on video, then sue her. She'll make an ass of herself to the judge and then she'll have to forever live with the memory that you won. That works too. Dude, cameras outside facing the cars and make sure she can't see them and get them on video. Send it police and make sure you get her face on everything too so that no one can say it wasn't her. Cameras, cameras, cameras. Make sure she doesn't see them when you put them up. Catch her doing shit and then hand it to the police. There also could be something done if she takes up 2 parking spaces intentionally. Look at your city regulations. Use washable paint and draw a line over her car if she uses 2 spots. Don't resort to her tactics. Just ramp up the perfectly legal normal thing that set her off in the first place. And let her screw herself. When she leaves, move your car to ensure she can't park in that spot. Rent a car and park them both in that spot. Borrow a box truck and park it there for as long as legally allowed. She'll snap quickly and do something illegal. And then you've got her. Shit through her letterbox. Have your wife have sex with the unhinged neighbor's partner. Videotape it, and at any time she tries to speak to you, you just play it on your phone and show her, and you stare at her in the eyes while you do this to establish dominance.